Welcome back to the Winners and Whiners 2013 NFL Prediction Show. My name is Mason Folz. I'm your host today. I've got a great cast of NFL handicappers. It's officially week 17 in the NFL. I hope you guys had a wonderful Christmas. Happy holidays. And I hope you're getting ready for a new year as we're going to be diving into these week 17 games this afternoon. And I'm telling you, we've got a great slate to look at on this New Year's Day. So get ready to strap in and get ready to win some money. Now, before we dive into those picks, I did want to introduce our outstanding cast that we have today. To my right, he's there. You see him in the beanie. He looks a little chilly today, but I know his picks are warming up. Tom Macrina, Reichel, how you doing, sir?
I feel great. Yeah, this week 17 is like a playoff atmosphere, and I'm excited to get at it.
100% your Eagles. They picked up a nice win this last week. A little bit of a scare there late, but see how they finished the year in these last 2 weeks. I'm pretty excited to see how that division finishes up.
Yeah.
Now our next guest, down in the bottom left-hand corner, his team, we'll be talking about them early. They play on Thursday this week, but they've been having a rough season, just like my Broncos. I know that me and Mr. Reichel have been down in the dumps a little bit this year, but we've kept a solid attitude, and we're going to keep it rolling. Mr. Scott Reichel, how you been doing? You ready for week 17?
No, I feel worse for you because you actually had some hope for a couple weeks. My team's been kind of done for about 4 minutes into week one. Just to ask, by the way, did you say 2013 or 2023 when you did the intro?
Did I say 13? That'd be a little bit of a throwback. We could get in the old time traveling machine, but it is 2023. I'll give that update as we only have a few days left that we can say that. Glad I'm forgetting with only few days left in the year. So good time to do that, but very excited for this week. Thanks for catching that, Mr. Reichel. And then to him.
I might have made it up 50-50, but I think there's a chance you might have said 13.
Either way, it is 2023. I can confirm that. That is one pick that I will lock in 100% this week. But down to the bottom right of this corner, I've got my co-host. You guys know him. You love him. He's been on YouTube the last week. His free picks have been solid. I know he cashed in one yesterday on Christmas. The Steamroller, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, Mason. Doing well. I did have the prop yesterday. Patrick Mahomes over in rushing yardage. Over, I think we got it at 18.5, went to 19.5 by game time. It didn't matter. He had, I believe, 52 yards rushing. Literally the only highlight of that horrific game. So it's I think we need to get 9 people just so we can set it up like Hollywood Squares. And then every time you go to me, I'm going to take Charlie Weaver to block, which is going to be hilarious to a lot of people not on this panel. But it's good to be here. I admire your enthusiasm. Every week you're like you're on fire. You are ready to go, and you drag the rest of us along with you. And we hope to match that enthusiasm. So it's good to be here. Ready to make some picks. We're coming down the home stretch. You've got. And it's weird. Tom said it's playoff atmosphere, and it is for a lot of these teams. And for some of them, it's like preseason games because it's already over. And trying to keep guys are hurt. They're like, yeah, fucking play next year. So, it's good to be here. We're gonna miss Chris today. He had a prior obligation that kind of came up at the last minute, so we'll have to do our best. Everybody is going to be assigned to make at least one wrestling reference from the '80s. So just know that going in. You guys are going to have to do that at least once during the show to make up for Chris. So good to be here. I'm ready to roll.
Perfect. I'll definitely leave those 80s wrestling references to you guys, as might be a little short on those sayings. I don't know about Reichel. He might not know many of those either, but hey.
He doesn't want to admit it. He knows way more than he wants to admit.
I know more than I probably should, but yeah, I know a couple.
That's awesome. I know he's been doing shows with you guys a lot longer than I have. If you do them long enough, you got to pick up on those little wrestling quotes along the way. So I'll be excited for him. I know you'll throw them in there when we least expect it. But before we dive into these games, I did want to remind everyone that it is Tuesday. We're recording these games a little bit earlier. So if there's any breaking news, injuries, or just big news, big plays in the NFL, make sure to check up on those and check up on everything before you place your picks this weekend. I also wanted to remind you that myself, the Steamroller, and Tom Macrina, Cape, we all have our premium packages available over on the Winners and Whiners website, putting out premium picks every single day. You can also head over to Reichel's Twitter page is he is the free pick king. He hands out everything for free, and he's been absolutely killing it this year. So make sure you head over there and check out all of our picks. Now, this week, with Week 17, we want to start on Thursday night. We're going to be looking at Reichel's Jets as they're heading to Cleveland. The Browns and Joe Flacco are currently a 7-point favorite at home. This total set at 35.5. Tom, we'll start with you. Who do you like in this Thursday night matchup?
Yeah, so this is the final Thursday night football game of the season. Short week for both teams. Should benefit Cleveland. Browns are obviously the better team. Simeon looked bad last week against one of the worst pass defenses in the NFL. This Jets defense is going to have trouble against one of the best defenses in the NFL. Browns play well at home. They're the better coached team. Cleveland likes to cover numbers. They should have no problem doing that here. I think the Browns win by double digits. They should cover this number.
Reichel, do you like the Browns as well in this one, or are you sticking with your Jets?
I think I have to lean to the Browns here. The Jets won a very weird game on Sunday because they blew a massive lead to Jacoby Brissett. Then they came back and they won the game when I didn't want them to because I wanted the tank to be better. But anyway, point is the Jets got torched defensively by Jacoby Brissett. So I don't exactly trust this defense in the current form. Offensively, Simeon struggled against Washington. I think they scored 3 points in the entire second half. So they really didn't do anything against this bad defense that's on a team that's probably going to fire the head coach, kind of guaranteed to do so. But Cleveland's been good. Simply put, Flacco came in off the couch, and he's been a very solid quarterback so far with this team. You can argue so far, yes, I know there's interceptions involved. With the injuries and with the current form, he's been arguably like back-end top 10 right now. Like, he's been that good. I'm going to lean to Cleveland. You're looking at Cooper just set the franchise record for most receiving yards in a single game. The offense has played well. Defense has been good. Cleveland's defense has been underwhelming on the road, but dominant at home. And luckily for them, it's in Cleveland. Give me Cleveland with the atmosphere there to get the job done. I'd say Simeon's going to run for his life, but he can't run. So I'm looking good luck to him. But I think Garrett and company get after him a couple of times. Give me Cleveland by double digits.
I get Steamroller. You riding with the crew here with the Browns, or are you going to the other side with the Jets?
Yeah, but no, I'm going to ride with the Browns, but with a light touch. And let me tell you what concerns me about this Browns is the injury list. As we sit here looking at it on Tuesday, it is scroll.
And just like that, the Steamroller, he talks about the injuries of the Browns and disappears just like that. So with that, I know he did
Was that an
say
80s wrestling reference?
No, it's not, but it could be. It should be. They should put that in. I kind of like that, actually. But with that, I'll finish it for them. I'm going to take the Browns -7 as well. We're going to go all four of us here, which a little scary as we know with the curse of these take the same picks crew here. But, hey, we're going to do it again here. It's the Browns, like Reichel saying, their defense, I haven't trusted them on the road, but at home they've been very good, and I simply don't trust this Jets offense. I spent multiple years of my life watching Trevor Siemian play with the Broncos, and tell you right now, he's not going to get the job done against this Browns secondary. They're pretty solid. They're going to get a pass rush going, and he's going to continue to struggle. So I'm going to ride with the Browns here. I'd also lean under, as I wouldn't be surprised if we had another crappy Thursday night game. So we'll stick with that.
Brock Osweiler.
Ooh, Brock, another one. Yeah, we'll just keep going down
the
list.
You have to watch a lot of bad quarterbacks in your time.
Case Keenum's been playing a lot more. They're all over the league. It's been brutal. But
you enjoy the reminiscing? With Keenum?
No, I can't say
no,
I do.
Not at all? No? Okay. Just asking.
No, got to get over that one, but it's how it is. And then look at that. The steamroller pops right back in.
I'll tell you, I'm using, I'll let you know a little behind the scenes magic here. I'm using my phone as the camera, which is fine, unless someone calls, and then it totally dumps me from the recording. So you guys heard none of that, right?
Nope.
Okay.
No.
So basically, I just went through an entire litany of people that are questionable. So I won't go through the entire list again, but you've got 3 offensive linemen that are questionable. You've got Njoku's questionable. Hunt's questionable. Delpit is out. Thornhill's questionable. Hicker's questionable. Hunter's questionable. I think that's it. So you've got a huge list. So I'm not going to be able to give a full-throated endorsement on this game until we check that injury list as closer to game time. see who's going and see who isn't. I don't think there's any world where I would take the Jets, but there is a world where I would avoid this game altogether if too many Browns were injured. So I do like what Scott says. And if you look at the splits on this defense, it is phenomenal. Like number one at home, last on the road. The splits, I've never seen anything. It's like who did we ride a few years ago, Reichel? The left-handed pitcher for the Marlins at home versus the road.
Oh, Caleb Smith. Are you talking about Caleb Smith?
No, Asian. Who was it?
Asian guy. Okay.
Yep.
I
can't remember who. I can't remember who it was, but he was absolutely a stud at home, like 1.8 ERA and 5+ on the road, and we read that.
I really thought it was going to be Caleb Smith. I really thought that's who you were talking about.
No, but anyway, that's the way it is with this Browns defense. We'll see what happens. The good news is for the Browns, it's Jets is a terrible football team. Offense is struggling, and I think the defense has kind of given up the ghost here in the last couple of weeks. So yeah, for me, it's Browns or nothing, and check that injury list.
I'm a little bit confused though. Cooch never played for the Marlins.
No, Cooch never played for the Marlins.
It's not the Cooch. Yeah, I know.
No, Steamroller, while you were gone, I pretty much echoed exactly what you just said there. I agree that the Jets offense stinks. Browns defense is very good. I think they're going to continue to roll. And like you said, if I was going to bet on this game, I would definitely ride with the Browns -7 as long as that injury list doesn't continue to grow. Now, our next game, we're going to go to Sunday. We're going to head into a solid one. We're going to see if the Dolphins can stay hot as they're actually heading over to Baltimore. The Ravens, they're a 4-point favorite at home. And this total set at 47.5. Rye, who you betting on in this one?
Yeah, so this is a huge game. The number one seed is pretty much up for grabs right here. The Baltimore short week doesn't bother me. They showed how dominant they could be on both sides of the ball against the 49ers. Both teams have an explosive offense, but I'm still not sold on Miami beating good teams. I understand they beat the Cowboys at home. Doesn't really wow me. Dolphins have a bunch of injuries. I think this line is too short. Give me the home team. High scoring as well.
Reichel, do you agree with Rye in this one?
Yeah, the Dolphins finally beat a team over 500. Congratulations. They didn't exactly look great doing it. They had a lot of chances to open the game up, ended up not converting on a decent amount of them. Settled for a bunch of field goals against Dallas defense, which has been kind of leaking oil a little bit. It's still a pretty decent unit, but the Ravens defense is probably the best unit in the entire league. Miami's defense has been hit or miss for most of the season, but I do think with Miami barely beating a Dallas team that we saw Buffalo destroy, for example, and the Ravens just beat up on the best team in the league by a decent amount. I should say they were viewed as the best team in the league, but they won on the road handily. I just think Tua is going to struggle. I think that he might throw a couple picks. Tyreek's been banged up recently. I know he played against the Cowboys. He was fine. Waddle got injured, though. I don't know what his status is going to be. But the point is, I do think Miami, despite being a good team, is not a great team. The Ravens are a great team. I think that there's a tier difference here. So for me, I'm going to go with the Ravens at home.
I like it. Steamroller, you agree with the boys?
Yeah, I got to play the Ravens here as well. You know, they talk about Miami beating Dallas on the road. That was a game that probably was about an inch and a half away from going the other direction, because if Pollard gets that ball over the goal line, they don't fumble on the next play and lose the ball, and they punch it in there, and that's going to be the difference in that game. So, yeah, and Dallas is another team that's very different on the road than they are at home. So, Baltimore absolutely showed me something on Monday night with that 49ers team. I was on the wrong side of that. I had not been. I thought the Niners were head and shoulders above anybody in the league right now, and Baltimore said not so fast there, fat boy. So, yeah, I think that's a decent number. I would like to hunt for a 3.5 and see if we get it, but I got a feeling that ain't the way this line's going to go. But I'm going to keep an eagle eye. I like it at 4. I'd love it at 3.5.
Yep,
by the way, I'm in too deep. Are you thinking of Jordan Yamamoto?
No.
I don't know who you're thinking of. I've been going through the Marlins.
Wei Chen.
Oh, Chen. Okay. Chen was the next guy I was going to ask you about. Okay.
Yep.
All right. I had to put a name to it. Cool.
No
he's out of the league, by the way.
Snapped that right out of there.
Oh, for a couple of years now, yeah.
Yeah, he's out of the league. Okay.
100%.
Small little memory. That reminded me of the Warriors last year when they were on the road versus at home as well. Just a completely different team where
Yeah, Chen threw me for a loop because he was equally bad at home and on the road. So that's why there wasn't much of a split. He was just bad. That's why he kind of lost me on that. But yeah.
But he had 1 year where he was just outstanding at home.
That might have been true, but that was a long time ago. Yeah, that was back in 2018.
Okay, there you go. That's about what I said, about 5 years ago.
Perfect.
There you go. All
Perfect.
right.
Perfect.
I'm glad we solved that for all of our football fans.
Yeah.
Exactly. Back to the NFL, and I'm going to have to stay with you guys as well. I'm going to take the Ravens -4. I backed them last night against the 49ers and was extremely impressed. They had that underdog mentality, and I don't think that's going to go away, even though they are favored in this game. They're extremely hungry, and they're solid at home. And once again, like you guys said, the Dolphins, they struggle against good teams, and, well, they beat a Cowboys team that usually craps out late in the year, which could be happening again. So I'm going to fade the Dolphins here. I'm going to ride with the Ravens
I think we have people at home watching this video going, oh, wait a minute. The experts say take the home favorites. All right, shit. Hang on. I'm writing this shit down here. Okay, I got it. Perfect. Yeah, that's some in-depth professional advice there. Take the home favorites. All right, next.
Exactly. Well, this next one, if you're taking the home favorite, it'll be a little bit more bold, as we've got an interesting game here as the Patriots, a little bit of a divisional battle. They're traveling to Buffalo to take on the Bills. The Bills are a 12-point favorite at home, so this one's a little bit scarier, and this total is set at 41. Rye, who you betting on in this one?
Yeah, I don't know if the Pats know, but they probably want to lose some games so they can get a quarterback in this draft. But the Bills are the hottest team in football right now. They still have hopes on winning the division. Their final 2 games are against division opponents. They had a scare last week against the Chargers, but they crushed them statistically. I think the Pats offense is on par or worse than the Chargers offense. I can't back the Pats. Bills win big here. I think we see a big Bills versus Miami Dolphins game next weekend. I'm excited.
I like it. Reichel?
Yeah, so the Bills killed me over the past week because I had them against the Chargers, and they looked pretty bad in that game. Now, you can make an argument there was a new coach bump with the Chargers. That probably played a factor, but still, Stick moved the ball well, and the Buffalo offense didn't look great. And I think Josh Allen's injured. I don't think anyone's talking about it, but it's not a coincidence to me that they became a run-first team about 2/3 of the way through the season. That is a little bit sketchy, and the fact that Stephon Diggs hasn't really done anything in the last 2 months kind of hammers that point home. The problem is New England's not any good. They were able to beat Denver, which was a pretty entertaining game randomly. But 12's a lot of points, but Buffalo's at home, and New England already beat this team earlier this year. I feel like it could go both ways. If the Bills win this game comfortably, then I would understand it, but I think I got to lean New England. I'm going to go with a very ugly, low-scoring game, but I really think Josh Allen's hurt, and I think the MVP buzz he's getting recently is laughable. I don't think there's any chance in hell he should win MVP. But just watching him play the last couple of weeks, I think his arm's injured. I feel like there's something off with the shoulder, something off with the turnovers have been there for most of his career, but still, it just looks like his overall throwing motion and the overall, once again, style of offense that they're running is not suggesting that he's at 100%. And I do think that if they can limit Cook, who has a fumbling issue too, I do think New England can keep this game interesting. I'm not picking the Patriots to win. I didn't totally lose my mind, but give me the Bills to win this game by like 7. 12's a lot of points. That's a lot of points for an in-division game. I'll take the Patriots plus the points, but I do like the under as my favorite play.
Steamroller?
I think 17-7's a very likely score here. You know, let me tell you why they struggled against the Chargers. If they couldn't run the football, Scott's right. This is become a team that has been able to run the ball with great proficiency, and it's kind of tied in with their recent success. They ran the ball for just 105 yards against the Chargers defense, and there's one thing that the Patriots defense does well. It's stop the run. They are number 1 against the run in the NFL. I think they're going to have a little something for them. And, yeah, like Scott said, we did see him beat them earlier in the season. I don't think we get a repeat here. This is a Bills team that's still playing very well, and the defense has really stepped up here in recent weeks. But I think that they're going to be able to keep it close. I just Patriots are a team that just grind you into dust. They'll drive the ball 6 minutes and go 30 yards. It's just one of those kind of teams, and I just don't think there's going to be a ton of opportunities to score. I think Buffalo's going to have a couple less possessions than they normally do. They'll keep the score down. I do like the under as far as the side goes, though. Yeah, I definitely. I think that's too many points. Give me 20-10, 23-13, something like that. I think 10 points is about right. I'm not laying 12 here. Give me the pass.
Do you agree with me about the injury, though? Like, it's not. I know that they switched offensive coordinators, but they completely pivoted to being a run-first team. That's got to be masking some injury, right?
I would think so. This has been kind of a weird year for quarterbacks. There hasn't been a dominant quarterback like we've seen. Going into last week's action, Mahomes was leading the league in total yards, and that was a stunner to me because if you look at by his usual metrics, he's having a terrible season. So I know Josh Allen's throwing for a ton of yards, but he also leads the league in interceptions. So it's hard to say. It's hard to say if he's gotten shittier. I mean, he's thrown a couple passes that just really make you scratch your head. So I don't discount that possibility at all, Scott. And it seems to me, just anecdotally, like they've been taking less shots. Now I haven't seen average air yards for his last couple games, but just to the naked eye, it seems like they're taking fewer shots down the field.
Yeah, I totally agree with both you guys. Or all three of you, where I think that Josh Allen is a little bit banged up. That's 100% why they're running the ball more. The turnovers could be a little bit of a factor there. But in this game against the Patriots, I think that you guys are spot on. I think that the Pats can dirty this game up, turn it into a low-scoring, grinded-out game, run the ball. And I think the Bills are going to continue to try to rely on that run game, which will keep that clock moving. And like Scott said, Steehn said, that these teams can move 40, 30 yards in a matter of 5 minutes, where teams just lose possessions and they don't have enough opportunities to score. I could definitely see that happening in this game. So my main pick's going to be the under 41 in that one. Now our next game could be another interesting total per se, but the Falcons, they're traveling to Chicago to take on the Bears. The Bears are a 3-point favorite, and this total set at a whopping 39. Rye, who you betting on in this game?
Yeah, I like another home favorite. The Bears have quietly been one of the better teams in the NFC recently. If not for two blown leads against the Lions and Browns, this team would be playing for a playoff spot. Their last 6 games, they are 4-1-1 against the spread. It's tough to take Atlanta on the road. Heineke did bring a surge to the offense, but I think this Bears defense is going to be too much for them. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, but Chicago covers.
Like it, Reichel?
Yeah, I'm kind of on the fence because both teams looked very good last week. The Falcons were able to beat up on the Colts. Colts didn't have Pittman. They were kind of shorthanded, but either way, the point is they dominated the game. Bears dominated a bad team in Arizona. The defense I thought would look better in that game. Arizona was able to move the ball more than I thought they would, but now you have to face off against Heineke, who doesn't exactly scare you at all. I think I am going to Chicago. You have a dome team playing outdoors in December. Props to Montez Sweat, because apparently he was the key piece to unlocking the defense. And Justin Fields, I still don't think is very good, but he's been better over the last couple of weeks. And I do think his mobility can always give teams problems, especially if you don't have time to prep for him properly. So for me, I'm going to go with the Bears here. I think that they're in a line to look pretty sharp again at home. And I think it's going to be a close game, an ugly game. But I do think turnovers are going to be the story here. And I do think that the Bears defense has just been more opportunistic recently. So I'm going to go with the Bears to get it done. Lean to the under, but I see some type of like 23-13 type game. So I'll go with the Bears to win. But it might be, once again, a one-possession game, score late. They win by 10, give or take, but I'll lean to Chicago.
All right. Steamroller?
I was trying to find it. Ran across some kind of stat on the Bears defense over like the last 5 or 6 weeks that they were certainly up near the top of the league. And I can't remember if it was total defense or point. I don't think it's point. The bottom line is they've been playing very, very well. But this Atlanta team has been just a thorn in my side just about every week. I don't think I've gotten this team right all season long. By the time I back them, I back them against Carolina. They go down there and just the most ridiculous loss you'll ever see. and then they show up against Indianapolis, another team that's been a pain in my ass, but you just can't quite get a handle on them. I don't love this game. I'm probably going to avoid it. Nothing says success like laying points with the Bears, but I'm with you. I hate this Atlanta team so much, and the Bears defense. I don't know if they're the real deal or not, but they're certainly a lot more real than they were a month and a half ago. So give me the Monsters, the midway minus the 3 points. I'll take it.
I like it. You guys are all going with the side here. Like a lot of you said, I most likely will not be betting on this game, and I don't think I'll be taking a side today either. I'm going to be looking at the total as I think we're going to have another low-scoring game. I really like this Bears defense. I think Heineke, yes, gave that offense a little bit of a boost last week with the Falcons, but Indianapolis defense, they've given up a lot of points this season, so I wasn't surprised to see Atlanta have a little bit of success. I think they're going to have a lot more trouble on the road against the Chicago team. I think the Bears are going to keep them from scoring a lot of points, and I also think the Falcons have the ability to slow down the run a little bit, make it tough for Fields, and make Fields beat him with their arm, which we know he struggles to do at different times. So I'm going to keep this on the under 39 and expect another low-scoring game on this one. Now, our next game, we're heading over to Houston as the Tennessee Titans will be heading into town. The Texans are 3.5-point favorites, and this total is set at 42.5. Rye, who you betting on in this one?
Yeah, I don't really like that hook, but we have seen this game a couple weeks ago when Case Keenum went into Tennessee and beat the Titans. I do expect Stroud to play here. Texans are playing for a division title. Titans, on the other hand, have blown 2 late leads in their last 2 games. I think they're tanking anyway. Texans should be able to move the ball against this Tennessee defense. I'm going to go with the motivation here and take the Texans to win and cover.
I like it. Reichel?
Yeah, I think I'm going to lean to Houston as well, contingent upon the fact that I think Stroud's going to play. It does seem like, according to reports, they held him out this week or this past week because they didn't want to rush him back, and he should be making his return. They need him because they tried to steal another win with Keenum, and that was a disaster, and it turned out to be Davis Mills. But still, the point is, Case Keenum did beat the Titans, so I have faith in Stroud to do so because the Titans have been underwhelming. They've been competitive, but Tannehill's probably a quarterback, and we saw the ups and downs of that whole venture last week again against Seattle. But if you're going to expect Tennessee to score 17 points because they're the Titans, I'll take my chances with Stroud to look pretty sharp at home here. So give me Stroud and the Texans minus the points.
I like it. Steamroller?
Yeah, I'm in agreement that this is 100% contingent on Stroud being able to play. So in no way would I ever make a bet on Tuesday if this game is officially questionable. But coming through the concussion there, it sounds like he should be out of it. That's generally, the week is about how long the concussion protocol generally lasts. And we talk about it ad nauseum every week because we always seem to have Tennessee in the early window. If you want to stop this team, you stop them from running. When they played before, Houston was able to do a very good job of shutting them down as Tennessee ran the ball 30 times for just 66 yards. So if they can have that same kind of defensive success against the run, I think it should be pretty much green grass and high tide for the Houston Texans in this one. I don't love it. I don't love this Houston team. I think they're a year early, but I'm going to go with the motivational angle here, if nothing else. According to the books, Houston's a half point better than Tennessee on a neutral field. I think that's a little strong. I don't think that's close. I think they're probably 2 points better on a neutral. There's a little bit of meat on that bone. I'll take Houston as long as CJ Stroud's playing. I'll take Houston lay the points.
Yep, I agree with you guys 100%. As long as Stroud is in that game, I'll be taking the Texans minus 3.5. Think they're the better overall team. And the Titans, they've had a lot of success at home this year, but they haven't been very good on the road. I could see that being another struggle in this game. Now, if Stroud does not play, I'm definitely leaning back towards that under 42.5 as I think that this Titans defense can stop Mills or any of their backup quarterbacks, and I don't trust this Titans offense. They struggle, especially on the road. So, yeah, the under and the Texans -3.5 are my plays in this one this week. Now, our next game, a little bit more interesting. Some tougher teams to pick, in my opinion, but we're going to be looking at the Las Vegas Raiders as they're going on the road to take on the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts are a 3-point favorite, and this total is currently set at 44. Rye, you like another home favorite in this one, or are you going with the dog?
Yeah, I like the home favorite again here. We're seeing two teams. The Raiders just came off two crazy wins, the 63-point offensive showing against the Chargers, and then yesterday against Kansas City, they looked really well. But this will be a second consecutive road game. Looks like a good spot for a letdown to me. Colts had a bad loss last week against the Falcons, but they are going back home. I expect Pittman to return to the lineup. They definitely missed him. As bad as the Colts are defensively, they actually match up really well against this Raiders offense. If you want, I think some money should come in the Raiders. We may see a 2.5, but either way, I think the Colts win here and cover.
Like it. Reichel, do you agree with Rye in that one?
I'm going to disagree. I'm going to lean to the Raiders in this one because we have to provide some content. We can't agree on everything. So I'm going to go with the Raiders plus the points here. I just think that they have really bought into their new head coach who should get the full-time job. I think Pierce has definitely earned that right. Now, I know that it's dangerous to back a team that didn't complete a pass for the final three quarters, but they still went into Arrowhead and won, which is not an easy venture, but they've been very good defensively recently, and it does seem like Pierce has reinvented that unit, and I do think you're looking at the Colts, who should get Pittman back, which is going to be a big boost, but I still don't think the Colts are that good. I know they keep finding ways to win games, or they have all season long, but if you're asking me, based on the spread, do I think the Colts are 3 points better than the Raiders? I don't know about that. Like, I think that these teams are pretty close, and I do think you're looking at a spot where if O'Connell is able to get back on track against the much worse defense that the Colts have compared to the Chiefs in Arrowhead, it's in a dome. He also went to Purdue. That's like a half homecoming, if you want to count that. But give me the Raiders to put together a good showing here. Maybe I'm just indirectly expecting the Colts to implode, and they're going to miss the playoffs. But I like teams that buy into their head coach, and it does seem like the Raiders have been doing that. So give me the team off a big win to keep it rolling a little bit. Ugly game, not going to be easy. But I think O'Connell can't play any worse. So give me the Raiders to get the job done. Win the game outright. I'll lean to like a 20. I actually might lean to the over in this game because the Colts have played a lot of overs so far this season. Give me the Raiders to win 23-20. Actually, that still leans under. So, yeah, I'll lean 24-21.
All right.
There
you
go.
That. I like that. That works out well. Steamroller, how about you? You like the Raiders here in this one as well?
You know, I'm tempted after watching them take care of business against the Chiefs, second straight road game. But I do agree with Rye. Number one, I think it's a classic letdown spot for the Raiders after a huge win at Arrowhead. No game on their schedule is bigger than that game at Arrowhead, and they were able to get the win there. But the other thing that I really have to that gives me pause is this has been a Indianapolis team that's just 3-4 at home straight up, but against the number at home this year, as a favorite this season, they're 5-0, home and the road. So they when people think the Colts are better than someone, they generally are. They're short favorite here. Really, for that reason alone, I'm going to back the Colts. Short week for the Raiders, letdown spot, and the fact that the Colts have been very good as a favorite. And what that means is not necessarily the Colts perform well as a favorite. It means the books have been accurate with their bookmaking when it comes to making the Colts a favorite. I think they've got it right here again, and I think the Colts take care of business. I don't think it's going to be a good game by any stretch of the imagination. It's hard to believe we could be watching two playoff teams go at it, but here we are in Week 17. I'll take yet another home favorite. Give me the Colts to take care of business week by 24-20, 27-21, something like that.
Perfect. Well, that'll make Reichel our first lone wolf of the day, as I'll actually be taking the Colts -3 as well. I like them at home, and I just simply can't back a Raiders team that couldn't complete a pass in that second half of that game against the Chiefs. I know they won outright, but that offense has looked very bad in recent weeks. People remember they didn't score any points against the Vikings either. And I just don't think they're going to be able to score enough points to keep up with this Colts offense. They're going to continue to grind. And with Pittman back and Taylor back, I think the Colts are going to continue to battle with a lot of motivation. They still have tiny, tiny hopes of getting into those playoffs. So I think they're going to battle here, and I think they're going to cover the spread at home. Now, this next game, we've got one team who could possibly be in the playoffs, one team who's definitely not going to be in the playoffs, as the Carolina Panthers are traveling to Jacksonville. The Jaguars are 7-point favorites, and this total set at 37.5. Rye, who do you like in this Panthers versus Jags matchup?
I don't know. I guess it depends on Trevor Lawrence, but I don't know. Panthers defense has been playing well. They've covered 3 of their last 4. Jags have been in a free fall. They've lost 4 in a row, including against the spread. I get that they really need to win here. I think they do win, but I think the 7 is a lot. If Trevor Lawrence is in, this number should go higher. So I'll take the Panthers at whatever this number lands on. 7, 7.5, 8.
Perfect. Reichel?
Yeah, I'll be on Carolina. There's a saying that in order to be the man, you got to beat the man. And right now, Trevor Lawrence is not the man because he's been atrocious for the last month. He's got to be battling some injuries, just simply put. I know he's still injured now, left the game early. I don't know if he got benched or not, but he did not finish the game against the Buccaneers. I was trying to remember who they played, but yes. The point is Trevor Lawrence has been a disaster, so I'm not going to back a team with a quarterback that I don't trust. And if he doesn't play, I'm not trusting CJ Beathard either. So I know that the Panthers are a really bad football team. Having said that, Bryce Young did have the best game of his career. They ended up losing to Green Bay. Game was competitive. They hung in there. They ended up losing, but still, I think that they can make enough plays to get the job done. Jacksonville's been bad against the pass. They got killed by Baker Mayfield last week, but I do think you're looking at a team that really just should not be laying 7. I don't get this line at all. This feels based on reputation from what they did, I don't even know, 2 months ago at this point. But when you've lost 4 in a row and your quarterback's injured or just bad, I'm assuming injured, but once again, Lawrence has been a mess. I'm not laying a touchdown with you. So I know Carolina's bad, but I think that they're decent enough to hang in there. They might have a shot to actually win this game. It wouldn't shock me if they had a shot to potentially keep it 1 possession in the fourth quarter, maybe a drive to win it. Not saying they're going to, but 7's a lot of points based on this current form. Give me Carolina.
Steamroller?
Yeah, I can't believe we're going to have a shot at getting a Carolina sweep here, or you're going to be a Jacksonville lone wolf. But yeah, here we are. Carolina, this is a team that hasn't been playing like their season's over lately. They've actually showed a little something, kept it close against Green Bay, got the win against Atlanta, 3-point loss to Tampa, and a 7-point loss to Tennessee.
They almost won 2 games in a row. They almost did it.
Yeah,
almost.
They had a real shot at it there. And yeah, this is a Jacksonville team that just isn't playing good football right now. And it's not just Trevor Lawrence, but the defense hasn't been playing well either, as they've given up 30 or more in 3 of their last 5. And I know a lot of that is the fact that the offense isn't getting much going, and they're leaving that defense on the field. This is a Jacksonville team that's been utterly unable to run the football at all. Haven't run for more than 75 yards over the last 5 weeks. That's not good, and that's not what you need with a second-string quarterback in there. You've got to have a legitimate running game, take the pressure off. I don't think they do it. I wouldn't be surprised if Jacksonville has a double-digit lead at some point in this game. I don't think it holds. I'll take Carolina plus the 7, and I'm gonna be looking for 7.5 because we may be able to find it by the time the game goes to by the game kicks off.
Well, that does make Rye the lone wolf on the Jags -7, which is pretty hard to say as they are playing the Panthers, which is bold, but I'm taking the over 37.5 here. I'm going to get bold here as I think that the Jacksonville secondary stinks. Bryce Young's looked a lot better the last few weeks. Last week, more importantly, he started to get it rolling, scored 30 points against the Packers. I think they're going to be able to find ways to score against this Jacksonville team. And I also like this Jags offense, whether it's Lawrence or Beathard. I know that they've lost a few games, and I kind of hope it is Beathard, but their offense looks decent against the Bucks in that garbage time. I think that they can score 21, 24 points against this struggling Panthers team. They haven't been good all year. So I'm going to take the over 37.5 as I think that total's just a little too low. Now our next pick, one of the hottest teams in the NFL, the Los Angeles Rams. They're a road favorite. They're a 6-point favorite going on the road against the New York Giants. This total is set at 42. Rye, who you betting on in this one?
Yeah, I like the number here. The Giants have been competitive. It looks like the veto project is over. There hasn't been an announcement yet, but I expect Taylor to be named a starter for these last 2 weeks. Giants are coming off the short week. Rams are rested. They played Thursday night football last week. They won their last 5 of their last 6, covering their last 5. I think Rams is the play here.
Reichel?
Yeah, I think it would actually be a lot easier if DeVito was quarterback because I don't think he's any good. I think Tyrod can be okay in some spot starts, but I think I have to go with the Rams. They have extra prep time. That final score against the Saints was misleading. They dominated that game. They probably should have won by 20. But you're looking at the Rams being in good form. McVay's a solid coach. So is Dable, but the point is you can argue that the coaching matchup is pretty even, with Stafford being significantly better than Tyrod Taylor. So for me, I'm going to go with the Rams here. I think it's not going to be the easiest cover. I think that the Giants are going to hang in there to some degree, but the Rams have a lot of firepower. They're in good form, and the defense has kind of grown as the season has gone on. Tyrod's a good game manager. I don't trust him to go blow for blow against Stafford in this offense. So I'm going to lean to the Rams to win this game by somewhere between 7 and 10.
Perfect. Steehn?
Yeah, this is a Rams team that's been very good to me for all the consternation that Atlanta and Indianapolis has caused me. This Rams team has been an outstanding piece in my quiver this season, especially lately. And the difference is they've been able to run the football, and that's pretty much opened up the keys to their success. As Rice said, like I said, won 5 of the last 6, covered 5 straight. Giants team has been very good against the number 2, but I think that in this case, I think the Rams are going to be just too much to them. I think they're going to be able to run the football successfully and set up Stafford being able to take some shots down the field. And I expect the Rams to easily win this one and get the cover as well.
Yep, that makes it a clean sweep on this one, as I'll be taking the Rams -6 as well. I think these two teams are simply going in 2 different directions. The Rams continue to get hotter and hotter, winning 4 of their last 5. And that one loss, if you guys remember, was against the Ravens in overtime. They battled with them, who a lot of people are saying one of the best teams in the league. So I think the Rams are trending in the right direction. They're moving the ball well on the ground. Matthew Stafford's throwing it very well to Nakua and Kupp. They have that double-headed weapon outside there, and I just don't think the Giants are ready to keep up with them. I think they're going to struggle at home to end this season, and I think the Rams are going to easily cover this spread as well. And our next pick, a little bit tougher of a game as we have a bigger spread here. The Arizona Cardinals will be going on the road to take on the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are 10.5-point favorites, and this total set at 48.5. Rye, you going with your Eagles in this one?
I'm not. I'm actually going with the total. I refuse to back the Eagle as double-digit favorites. They haven't looked good in a while. I don't trust them. Arizona is not a good team either. I'm going to go with the over. Gannon is familiar with this Eagles team. He was the defensive coordinator of the Eagles last season. The over is hit in 3 of the 4 last Cardinals games. Obviously, Philly isn't short on weapons. I think offense is king in this game. I'm going with the over 48.5. Something like 38-21.
Perfect. Reichel?
Yeah, I like the over as well, but I think I am going to lean to Arizona. Arizona's not a good team, but the Eagles have been really not answering any questions that have propped up over the last month. They beat the Giants barely. It felt like they were going to win that game by 20, and then the Giants hung around. The pick 6 kind of changed the complexion of that game. They were never really in danger of losing, but the fact that Tyrod had a shot to tie the game at the end tells you that the Eagles are not exactly trustworthy, laying big numbers. Arizona is interesting enough to keep the game competitive if Kyler can move around, extend some plays, maybe find some holes in this defense, because there's a lot of them, especially in the secondary. I'm going to lean to Arizona. My favorite play is the over, but the question is, do I trust the Eagles to actually cover a spread for once after kind of failing to cover for the last month? I don't. So I think the Eagles win the game by like 7. I think Arizona hangs in there, probably loses, but give me a high-scoring game.
Perfect. Steamroller?
Yeah, I've got to be on the over 2 here as well. This is an Eagles defense that has just kind of fallen off the cliff here over the last month of the season, giving up 30 points per game over their last 4. And Arizona did run into some problems against that Chicago defense, but they were able to put up 29 on San Francisco, put up 24 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So this is an Arizona team.
They weren't even that bad against Chicago's defense. When you compare Chicago's defensive numbers to like the other teams, Arizona was actually decent compared to those.
No, they're all right. They ran for 93 yards, but they averaged 4.7 yards per carry. So I think that was more just a matter of game flow than anything else. But they did have success running the football. I'm with Tom. This Eagles team just is giving me no reason to believe they can cover a double-digit spread. And would it stun me to see the Eagles win by 2 touchdowns? No, of course not. They're a good football team, but again, much like the Chiefs, especially lately, they just haven't showed it. You would not guess that the Chiefs and the Eagles were at one point not too long ago considered the 2 best teams in the league, because they certainly are not now. I'll take the over and watch the points just fly up.
I like that. I'd like that. I'll take a side here. I like the over. I definitely agree with you guys, but I'm going to take the Cardinals plus 10.5 here. Simply can't lay that many points with the Eagles. Even though they're at home, they just have continued to struggle against these teams. The Giants game yesterday actually shocked me. I thought that they were going to snap right into place, answer all our questions, and just slowly move into the playoffs and get hotter and hotter. But honestly, that's not what happened at all. And I think I have some worries for this Eagles team officially. So I'm going to take this Cardinals team plus 10.5, as I think their offense is going to score just enough points against this Eagles secondary to cover this spread. In our next game, we're going to head over to another fun one. You guys know it. It's the Steamrollers' favorite division. We're looking at the Saints versus the Bucks. Tampa Bay is a 3-point favorite. This total set at 42. Rye, who do you like in this one?
Yeah, so I've been on this Buccaneers train pretty much since it started. They've been impressive. They won their last 4. They need 1 win in these next 2 games to clinch the division. They've also been covering. They've gone 7-2 their last 9 ATS. I understand the Saints still have hopes on playoffs, but I'm not jumping in front of this train when I've been riding it the whole time. Bucks win and cover here.
Like it, Reichel?
Yeah, give me the home favorite. I've said it time and time again, but I'll say it again. I think Dennis Allen's a bottom 5 coach in the league. I'm not saying that I think Bowles is a good coach, but he's not Dennis Allen bad. Dennis Allen should not be a head coach in the league, and you can argue any league. But still, the point is, I can't trust the Saints here. They had extra prep time, which helps because they played on Thursday, but Carr had a lot of good numbers in garbage time. The offense really didn't do much for the first 2.5 quarters, 3 quarters against the Rams. Tampa's been good. Just simply put, Baker might have earned himself a nice contract for a couple of years in Tampa. That might age horribly wrong, or horribly in general. But I do think as of right now, Baker has been in good form. There's some questions about Carr and how a lot of Saints fans don't even want him anymore. The Carr experiment, you could definitely say, has failed. But Tampa's been in good form. The Saints have not, and that's good enough for me. Give me the home team -3.
Perfect. Steamroller, you going with the boys here in the Bucks -3?
Yeah, I am. There's a couple observations about doing this show every week. Number one, it seems like the NFC South has about 12 teams in it. Number two, it seems like the Houston Texans play every game at home. It's just weird. That's just the way it seems. As far as this one goes, again, if you allow 3 points for the home favorite, odds makers are telling us these 2 teams are evenly matched on a neutral field. I'm not buying that at all. I think this is a Tampa Bay team that's playing good football right now. Defense has really started to step up. Baker's finding some rhythm with his receivers. I hate to do it. We talked about it. What could possibly go wrong? It's another home favorite. I'm on it.
Well, if it can make it any worse, all 4 of us are taking that home favorite at -3. Is like Rye said, I've been riding the Bucks since they started winning these games, and they haven't let me down. And you guys have heard me say it in the past, the Saints are my least favorite team to bet on this season. I don't trust Derek Carr at all. I do not think he's a very good quarterback. And I think this Saints offense is going to continue to struggle, especially on the road. So I'm going to keep this one short and sweet, and I'm going to ride at the Bucks -3 here, as I think they're the hottest team in this game and possibly besides the Rams in the league. So I'm riding with the Bucs -3. And with our final game of this early slate on Sunday, we're going to be looking at the San Francisco 49ers. They're a road favorite, 13.5 points as they're going on the road against the Washington Commanders. This totals at 48.5. Rye, last one. Who do you like in this game?
Yeah, poor Commanders. 49ers just took their first butt whooping last night. 49ers are clearly the better team on both sides of the ball. Washington looked like they gave up early in the game against the Jets. Then they put in Brissett, who almost completed the comeback. But let's not fool ourselves. Brissett run offense may be better, but this San Francisco team is better on all aspects. I think this one gets ugly for the Commanders. I like San Francisco by a lot of points.
I like it. Reichel, you agree with Rye in this one?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. The only question is if Purdy's going to play. He allegedly suffered a stinger, which caused him to get benched, but he was bad before the stinger. So there you go. But it was against Baltimore's defense, which is excusable, at least compared to Washington. You're going from the best defense to potentially the worst defense in the entire league. So even if Darnold does start, I do think that San Francisco can get whatever it wants offensively anyway. I'm not going to overreact to the almost comeback. You were down 20-plus points to the Jets. That's not a good look. Like Trevor Siemian was starting and you were getting blown out in that game. I think the Niners bury this team. This is such a great bounce back spot. You could probably not have picked a better defense to face to bounce back offensively with. So, yeah, I think the Niners win by absolute destruction, by 3 touchdowns, maybe north of that, but it's going to be ugly, and I'm going to laugh in the process. So I'll go with the Niners minus a 13.5. This is going to be ugly. So give me the Niners.
I like it. Steamroller, you agree with the boys here again?
I do. It's a ton of points, but what I'm keeping an eye on is not just Brock Purdy, but Trent Williams is landed on the injury list again. He's got a groin problem, and we saw with their 3-game losing streak earlier in the season, it was games that Trent Williams did not play. So this team, I'm not sure there's a more important piece than Trent Williams, left tackle for the 49ers. I know that sounds weird to say, but he's that important as far as making things happen. So I do want to keep an eye on the injury list. I may not make a play on this until right before game time, until we get the inactives, because you don't want to see if Purdy's going to play. You want to see mainly want to see if Trent Williams is going to play. Having said that, this is a Washington team that I think is just absolutely packed it in with the comeback last week notwithstanding. They had dropped their previous games by a lot, 8 and 25 and 30. So not good at all. It should be 35, 30, and 8. They dropped their previous 3 games before the Jets. And like Reichel said, they went down to 20 points to a very bad Jets team. I think this is a great revenge spot for San Francisco, and it's revenge just for last week. They're just going to take it out on what poor little bastard happens to get in front of them. This time it happens to be the Commanders, a team that's kind of quit for the season. And I will say this anecdotally, as a Chiefs fan, a lot of grumbling on Chiefs Twitter about we need Eric Bieniemy back. Not sure that's the answer, as the Commanders averaging just 20 points this season. So it's not like he's exactly put them into the stratosphere either. So
you think he's automatically the coach though next year?
I do.
Yeah,
I think he had a if then clause in his contract, and fully expect to see that get executed next season. But
I agree with you guys 100%.
For this one, I'm on the Niners.
Yep. And I agree with you guys 100% about Bieniemy being the next coach. I think he's set up there in Washington. I also think this season is done for them. Just like you guys said, I'm going to be taking the 49ers minus 13.5. Now, if Trent Williams doesn't play, I won't be touching this game because I do agree with the Steamroller. He's very valuable, but this Commanders team, man, they stink. And even though they had that remarkable comeback against a struggling Jets team, they still lost, which is almost even more demoralizing. I think they're hanging it up. And I liked what these guys are saying about the revenge game. That's a huge factor in this one, as there's no way the 49ers have a good taste in their mouth after this last week's Ravens game. So to finish this show off, I'm going to take the 49ers minus 13.5. and I'm going to expect them to dominate the Commanders on the road.
Yeah,
If the
Tom
Commanders
said-
are trying to lose, by the way, if they're trying to improve the
Exactly.
tank, do you have to start Towel? Is Brissett too good to start if you're trying to lose games?
Yeah,
He
you gotta
might be.
save him.
He might be.
Tom said a lot of these games will have a playoff atmosphere. This ain't one of them.
No,
It
it's
might.
not.
It won't be one team. One
Yeah.
team's going to treat it seriously. The other team's not. So
One team for about a quarter will be playing very seriously, and then it'll go from there. But it's a very interesting Week 17 early slate of games. We're very excited for them. I know you guys are too. We wanted to thank you so much for coming and checking out this YouTube video. Now, before we go, I did want to give each and every one of our awesome cappers a chance to tell you where you can find all of their work. Rye, I'll let you go first. Where can they find all your picks?
Yeah, so you can find me on all social media at Reichel. You see the name right under me. You could also find me at Whiners and Whiners for all my premium picks. NFL, I am on a 13-4 run. College football, 19-4-2 in my last 22. Go check that out. We're trying to finish this football season, both of them really hot, getting into 2024. I'm excited. Come check me out.
Yeah, you've been killing it. It's been very fun to watch. Did want to remind everyone watching this video, if you're not signed up for the newsletter or the marketing email, you can find a lot of Rye Cape's premium best bet picks in there, as he's been being featured a lot, but I'm telling you, he's been winning a lot. So get over there, follow his picks, and get ready to land in the green with him. Now, Mr. Reichel, I know you don't have any premium picks, but I think a lot of people watching this video could be more interested in where they can find all your awesome free picks.
Yeah, so you can find all my stuff on Twitter. I have the YouTube videos, of course, of Winners and Whiners. Been terrible lately, full disclosure, but I got to snap out of it at some point. But still, point is, looking forward to the rest of the football season. Or looking forward to 2024. But if you want all my picks, once again, podcast related or just actual YouTube video related, it's all free. So find that on my Twitter.
Yep, perfect. And once he gets that wheel rolling, once he gets a few wins under his belt, we know he's going to be scorching hot. It goes both ways. So make sure to give him a follow, and we'll be looking to take you to the green as well. And last, but certainly not least, Scott the Steamroller Steehn, where can we find all your awesome picks?
Well, you can find me back on the YouTube channel if you want to see what my background actually looks like that isn't green. And by the way, I know I'm sitting in front of a green screen and it looks stupid. It's permanently mounted, and in the current platform that we're using, only one person can use a green screen, and of course that's the host. That's Mason. Mason sets this call up every week. So don't anybody put in the comments like, you had a green screen behind you, dumbass. Yeah, I know. So check out my videos over the YouTube channel. We'd been hot, and then we've been a little chilly, and we should have hit 2 player props over the weekend, but we just hit one as Cortland Sutton drops the ball for about a 30-yard gain that would have put us 60% of the way to our over 49.5. And he not just drops the ball, he hits his head, and he's out for the rest of the game. So that was a bad break. We did pick up an easy winner with Mahomes over rushing yards yesterday. So that went well. You can find me on Twitter/X at Steamroller, just like it says there in the bottom left-hand corner of my frame. And if you want to follow my bad sports takes over there, and me arguing with really basically just other guys at Winners and Whiners and my son, you can do that as well.
Perfect. And you can find all of my picks over on the Winners and Whiners Experts site. I also have a Twitter account at Mason Folz right here. Also on the Winners and Whiners main Twitter account, we're back up and running. We've been throwing out free picks and parlays left and right. We also have our TikTok account that's been winning money every single week. It's been awesome, along with the Discord where we have over 1.2 thousand people collaborating every day, killing the books. I know Rye's in there all the time, so make sure you head over to those links. Get involved with our social media, and we'll look to consistently win you that coin. Now, before we go, I did want to remind you guys one last time, don't forget that we're recording this on Tuesday, so check on all of those breaking news updates and all of those injuries. And my final little reminder, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you guys can come back next week and catch a few more free picks.